The world does not respond to your wishes. It responds to your self-concept. Long before money appears in your hands, long before opportunity knocks on your door, long before recognition speaks your name, there is a silent verdict made inside your mind. And that verdict decides everything. Most people live like tenants in their own lives, asking permission, waiting for approval, negotiating with fear. But a king does not beg reality to change. A king commands himself first. And when the inner world is governed with certainty, the outer world falls into alignment. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are prepared to claim. History has proven this again and again. Edison failed thousands of times not because he doubted his vision, but because his identity was already fixed. He knew the light existed before the world could see it. Carnegie stood as a poor immigrant boy, yet spoke of wealth as if it were inevitable, because in his mind, it already was. Ford was laughed at for believing he could give the world affordable mobility, but kings are never moved by laughter. They are moved by vision. A king thinks in terms of ownership, not possession, but responsibility. He owns his thoughts. He owns his reactions. He owns the consequences of his choices. And that ownership is the first crown you must place upon your head. If you see yourself as small, the world will agree. If you see yourself as uncertain, life will hesitate around you. But when your thoughts rise to the level of certainty, discipline, and calm authority, life reorganizes. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. A king does not rush. He moves with intention. He does not chase validation. He attracts loyalty by presence alone. And presence is built in silence, when no one is watching, when discipline replaces motivation, when clarity replaces chaos. Your mind is the throne room. Whatever sits there rules your life. Most people let fear sit on that throne. Doubt whispers laws. Distraction signs decrees. And so their lives become divided, unfocused, reactive. But when you decide to think like a king, you remove every false ruler. You stop reacting to noise. You stop explaining yourself to small minds. You stop negotiating with habits that weaken you. A king's belief is not emotional. It is deliberate. Napoleon Hill understood this when he wrote that definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Not hope, not desire alone, but a burning, disciplined clarity that refuses to dissolve under pressure. You must know what you stand for. You must know where you are going. And you must act in harmony with that direction, especially when it feels inconvenient. Because the universe does not reward comfort. It rewards coherence. When your thoughts, habits, and actions speak the same language, reality listens. This is why visualization is not imagination. It is rehearsal. A king sees the outcome before the path reveals itself. Lincoln saw unity before the war ended. Disney saw kingdoms before there were parks. They held the image long enough for the world to catch up. But vision without discipline is fantasy. A king trains his mind daily. He sharpens focus like a blade. He respects time because time respects no one. He rises early not to impress others, but to master himself. He understands that every morning is a negotiation between who he has been and who he is becoming. And he chooses power. Power is not force. It is consistency. Power is not domination. It is self-control. Power is the ability to delay pleasure for a greater reward. When you think like a king, you no longer ask, "What do I feel like doing?" You ask, "What does the future I respect require of me now?" That question alone will separate you from the crowd. Because kings are built in seasons of resistance. In moments when quitting feels logical. In hours when doubt feels persuasive. Yet they persist not with rage but with calm resolve. They understand that setbacks are not signals to stop. They are instructions to adapt. Resilience is royal blood. Every failure refines perception. Every obstacle strengthens command. A king does not curse the storm. He learns to navigate by it. He studies. He listens. He adjusts. And then he advances again, wiser than before. And through it all, gratitude anchors him. Not passive gratitude, but grounded appreciation. Gratitude that says, "I recognize where I am, and I honor the path that brought me here." Gratitude that keeps entitlement from poisoning ambition. Because entitlement weakens kings. Humility strengthens them. When you think like a king, you attract people, resources, and opportunities not because you chase them, but because your inner order creates outer order. Chaos cannot survive around clarity. Confusion dissolves around conviction. And slowly, quietly, unmistakably, your life begins to mirror your mind. Not because of luck, not because of chance, but because you finally chose to rule yourself. And once that happens, everything else follows.